So again, my idea here is I want to focus on being early game aggression, really be a pain in the neck, and push him as far away as possible as I can. So I'm going back and forth. As you can see over here on the right, I have a whole bunch of units being produced all at the same time. Hey there folks, this is the Caffeinated Dad. This is a match that I had just recently where I was testing out something that I thought would be a lot more beneficial in my playthrough of other different races. So I'm playing Loki here, and I really look at the idea of having the Norse be more aggressive, be more in your face, and not letting economies and other races really just get that far ahead. The idea is to really push it as hard as I can to really build up as much resources and essentially dominate them very quickly versus just letting them build up and get what they can out immediately. So I'm looking at a pretty heavy economic focus here for early on, and then by classic age, and then maybe and a bit even into heroic, to really just hammer out a lot of this damage that I'm going to cause this guy. So I do make a mistake here. My Berserk is running through, and he gets killed by the town center. That's a huge error on my part. It does set me back a little bit because I am going to have to make another Berserk so that I can actually build my temple, which I should be able to get pretty soon. So I go ahead and get the Berserk back up, and I go to wait just a couple extra resources for my temple. Actually, I think I run off. What do I do? Oh, I'm still scouting. I think it's because I realized at this point I had nobody gathering wood, which is a very big problem. I'm still scouting over here, so this is kind of putting me back because he's got a bit of. He's going to end up having a longer term economy lead over me because I lost a Berserk and now I don't have the temple. So now the temple's going up. I should have enough resources going through with this wood cart that's this ox cart that's able to pick up food and wood at the same time. So these guys are coming through. As soon as this temple's up, should be fairly close to be able to get enough food. But I do want to check out at this point because I'm wondering what. Like, I'm expecting there to be a little bit more of something over here, but it looks like he's got his temple up, which is great, but he's got 10 workers over on food, where I feel like I should have more of a balanced approach as far as food, as far as gold, and as far as wood, because that's going to help me the second that I come out, that I'll be able to essentially generate more units very, very quickly. His Kitsune's are out and about right now, but taking a look at where I'm at, as soon as I get this 400 food, I'm basically jumping straight into, yeah. So he summoned Sacred Custodians, Inari. I'm already on to Heimdall as my god. That is going to be important. I chose Heimdall because his god ability is to go ahead and undermine, which is going to help me out deal with some of these temples. I get a Hairseer to essentially move on. He gets to the swampland here. He gets to heroic or classic age before I do. But that's fine. I'm essentially in a pretty good position, I will say, to really start focusing on this economy and going through there. So I get another Berserk so I can go ahead and start building. I send over some of this Hairseer that I have. He's already building and working on his economy. Again, I really think his economy is going to be focused more heavily on late game, but notice how he's like jumping from 10 to 0 to 5. Like, he's jumping a bit all over the place. So I take this as an opportunity to upgrade. I build 2 longhouses so that I can have a little bit more of a damage focus and really hammer this out as soon as I possibly can. I forego getting the sentry tower upgrades. I'm focusing on getting these villagers and getting these soldiers, these units out. As you can see, 5 to 11 at this point. If we're looking at where he is, I just got to jump on over here. He's gone ahead and moved his watermill up here for gathering. Now, one thing to note is that he has, I think is it his Kitsune's? Yeah. His kits are running around. That is most of his military. That really doesn't have a whole lot to back it up. He's got Miko, he's got the Joragumu, the spider lady, and he knows roughly where I'm at. But he does not have the military to go ahead and back it up. So moving along, everything's going pretty well straight, we'll say. Getting a little close to population cap there. That's fine. Recruiting units. I should still be have the focus of pumping out villagers. At some point I should. I think I'm just kind of I was waiting here for a hair seer to deal with any other units that I might run into. But again, my idea here is to focus on going towards the enemy as quickly as possible. He gets a little spot on me, and then I think I get a bit worried here. Because yeah, there goes the watchtower upgrade. Since I'm not really going to focus on getting additional settlements and things like that, I'm going to need to be careful and focus that. Villagers go over, and I move them straight forward so they can go ahead and start getting from these hippopotamuses. I'm not even really going to focus on farms. I'm just going to focus on just these guys moving forward. Just having the immobile ox cart, not worried about anything crazy. Getting a bunch of units. It looks like he's getting a handful of units as well. But again, 23, 36, 40 now. His Kitsune catches an eye, sees all of my units. I move forward. I don't know that this is here yet, but there's his units. And my guys are upgraded, and they're ready to go. So it's pretty quick work. He tries to get his cavalry onto my ranged soldiers. Now, my objective here is to really be aggressive in this regard. Like, so he doesn't even have upgraded upgraded watchtower, and I kind of make the mistake here because I'm still getting used to these gods. Infested with Kaba that leap out of the water and drown enemy human soldiers. All of these guys are in here. This is a very bad place for me to be. My military is huge as compared to his. However, I am also in his god power. With it, this is just a very bad idea. I don't move this through, but I land the undermine to go through and damage all of these buildings as it goes through. Huge damage on all this, although I'm taking a bunch of damage here. As I'm going through, by the way, I also think I got a giant killer, Iron Harry. I don't even know how these guys are pronounced. But I go ahead and get those through. I go over here and focus on the stable, and this guy's over here getting just wrecked. Get rid of the stable real quick. There it is. I pulled off a little bit early. I have more soldiers coming over here into the background. Still not really doing too much here, although I do have nearly enough to go ahead and move into the, heroic age. So I go ahead, and his samurai is just, I don't know why I didn't just, like, turn around and kill the samurai, because he has, like, 2 HP. So again, my idea here is I want to focus on being early game aggression, really be a pain in the neck, and push him as far away as possible as I can. So I'm going back and forth. As you can see over here on the right, I have a whole bunch of units being produced all at the same time. And he upgrades his towers, which definitely helps him out. I come over here and I do as much damage as I can to all of his, villagers. I kill his Miko, and I'm like, all right, that's enough damage. Let me get out of here, because these the tower and the town center are going to absolutely wreck me. Pretty good first hit. Now at this point, the only thing I'll note is that he still has some kind of economy. So he's got a guardhouse over here. He still has his temple, but like if you look at the score, his score is still pretty good. Looking at that, so I'm going through. I deal with the buildings that I can hit safely. And I come over here and I focus on. I build a longhouse actually right here, right up close, because I want the pressure to be there, like him to know that he has to be a little bit more defensive when it comes to me. So I take this time. I start to save up, I think, because I'm fairly close. I built a watchtower just to be a pain in the neck. I thought that was kind of funny. But I'm at home building. I am starting to run low on gold because of the amount of units that I've produced. But I'm able to go over here and land another undermine on this dojo as well as this temple and just be a pain, because now he's in range of my towers, and now he has to go and deal with all these different units. I come over here, I clean these up. My tower still stands, So like right now, I'm in a very aggressive position. So I move all my units to go over here and attack their temple, get rid of his temple, which should help out dramatically. And right there is where I went ahead and went for the upgrades for the shield, for armor, and then I'm starting to get some herdmen to deal with any cavalry that he might have. But just looking at it in this regard, like all of his units are back here. He's low on gold. He has 16 units back, or 16 villagers, I should say, dealing with food. 16 dealing with wood, and at the guardhouse he's training Yumi archers. So they're very good against any kind of infantry. But again, I've gotten pretty good maximum value out of 2 separate undermines at this point. So taking a look at it from my point of view, I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I can be very aggressive. Let me go over here and get this Yumi, or this, was it Yumi Miko? So just really dealing as much as I can. He moves into the heroic age. Now this is a big problem. Because I don't know if there's enough aggression that I can really put onto him that will go ahead and be able to deal with his town center, which is constantly attacking, his guard tower, which is constantly hitting, and now he has a Shogun ability, which is going to be a huge problem. So back at home, I still have a couple of units. I'm upgrading their armor against hack and piercing, but he's kind of on the same page as me as far as the resource score. If you look at he's got 20 people gathering wood all at once, which is wild to think about. I take out this tower just because, again, I'm looking at this aggression. I'll be able to use Undermine here soon, but I'm like, there's got to be something that he is doing that's over here at this point. Now, looking at it, he's gone ahead and he builds an armory and then a shrine with his Miko over here to start getting the gold. He starts heading off over here, and I'm like, he's got to be doing something. He gets a couple of Yumi archers. He gets a couple of samurais, or he gets a samurai to protect. And I'm like, at this point, I really gotta focus on gold because I'm very far behind in that sense, and that's probably why the resource score was kept in where it was. It's because he's fairly close right up here. He's right here next to me. So I'm trying to play as little, we'll say, as defensive as I can in this regard. I move, this ox cart is constantly moving, farming whatever it can farm on. I have this one over here that moved out of my main base over to deal with this. It's got a handful of dwarves, a couple of gatherers. But I'm like pumping because now I'm behind. Like I only have a very narrow lead. I also do catch this over here where he had all of his villagers and all that. And again, I get a good lucky spawn that it spawned a troll to deal with these guys. I kill a handful of his villagers that were over here with this gold. Now that's a big deal because his villagers had to run away. And I'm stronger than his units right here. So I'm just like, all right, let's fight it. Let's do it. Try to knock off some of the villagers. He's got a handful of Yumi archers, which are getting maximum value. I try to move my troll away. I know it was a free spawn, but I'm like, oh, it's got to live. And it eventually dies, I think. Yeah, I was pretty sure that it died there. At this point, I'm looking to save up and get my upgrade. I'm going for Bragi so I can get the Battle Boar. The Battle Boar is going to be a huge deal because I'm looking at Siege here. But now he's upgrading his armory, but I've now knocked out another one of his gold mines, killed a couple of villagers, and scared away his stuff. So right now, it's looking pretty good. I still have this here. I'm still trading a handful of berserkers. At the temple, I'm pulling out some Seers. It's looking pretty decent. Pretty decent at this regard as far as aggression. I don't see this, though. He snuck off and built a town center away from his main town center. And this is probably why he's going to be able to hang into the match for a lot longer than he probably should have. I mean, he's got 12 guys over here. I don't even know where the hell they are. Where are these guys that are... Okay, they're all right here getting their sheep. The commoners, I was wondering where his economy was. It's fairly close even still because he has a lot of different abilities that can keep him into the match. I can only see what I see. I don't see that he's got this settlement at this point, but I'm like, you know what? Like, let's just keep the aggression. Let's keep things moving. He still has the Shogun ability, but then he pops the New Moon where he was able to essentially get all of his upgrades immediately, even before I could touch them. So not the best point of view, but I build a house over here just because I need a little bit of the economy, but I go into full unit production. At this point, I should probably also be looking for the upgrades. Like I get the call of Valhalla, looking to have the Berserkers upgrade. Lots of things moving forward, lots of things looking pretty good. I've discovered this over here, which is a huge catch because now he's getting gold somewhere, but it's severely hampered. And I think that's the important thing to know. I'm expecting him to reach out because I can see his villagers here, but I was expecting him to reach out and do something else. I was expecting him to have something else. And I built up a couple houses because I need a couple houses. You could just pop those bad boys up anywhere. I'm getting some research, but I'm really looking at the units that I'm trying to train, right? He kind of scares me off. This is not a fight that I can necessarily win. He's got some Yumi archers. And my battle boar is a little weak. I don't necessarily want to take this fight, but I'm essentially looking at compiling units and having everything, being able to attack what I can attack. So my battle boar goes over here and dies immediately, right? Which is not a good thing. And now my units start to clean up basically everything that they can hit. I have all of my range units are very strong. As soon as they're spawning, I'm basically able to take them out. The giant killers at the front really doing that work. I was like, all right, well, let me move. I'm in a very vulnerable position at this point. Right here, this is a very bad position for me. And I look at it in hindsight because I did pop the flaming weapons. And which is very effective. However, I've gotten all of my units essentially up and in the middle of where there's so many different things attacking them. So I have two towers, or I have a tower, and then I have a town center that's just laying into these guys. It is not the best point of view. And what I'm missing over here is like, okay, look, he's gotten a whole economy over here just going crazy. And I haven't even caught that. I haven't even paid attention to that. I don't know where that is. So I have these guys going through. I move these guys over to try to get as many of these villagers as I can. I then try to move it to deal with the watchtower, but he goes to collect food and it catches right there. I don't actually think that I finished this off because I have this. Yeah, all these guys get cleaned up, and I'm like, this is not good. I'm a little bit spread out here. While it's okay, my unit production is okay. Like I really need to have more, we'll say, more of a packing a punch. And then he goes ahead and uses Shogun God Power, which is now scary because that Shogun is going to be huge. That's going to be something massive to deal with. I'm getting what upgrades I can back at the armory. But again, it's still very close. I was really trying to be aggressive, and I also realized I never even used Spy. I think it's because the units died so quickly. I wasn't worried about it necessarily. I kind of put these houses here also to see when he would go ahead and pull for these gold mines. That was just something that I picked up. I think I watched a streamer do it, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that idea. So I got a second ox card over here, and I got it gathering. So now I have 21 gatherers on gold. I have 10 on food, 5 on wood. Probably should have at some point had more on wood, but that's okay. He's using his what's this? Is that like a shinobi? What is that? Yeah, heavy shinobi. This is the first experience of dealing with the Shogun. I was expecting more, I guess is the best way to put it. I was expecting there to be more with him. My units clean up, the town center's down to 1,000 HP, and I'm like, okay, like let's just take this bad boy out and we'll be done with it. Let's just do it. Bam. Town center goes down. Now I can clean up all these units. I'm not necessarily worried about it, but the aggression has been nonstop. This man has not had a moment to breathe with all the different units that I've been bringing in. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm like, all right, there's no way he's got to call it, right? That has to be it. That has to be it. No, he actually quits. Okay. Yeah. But taking a look, like he had this town center I had no idea about. He had this market that was over here and then a watermill. There was a handful of things. And even during that time, he went ahead and dropped a mining camp and then two and right next to my houses. And I didn't even realize. I guess I was focused on dealing with this town center and this castle. Now, one thing that I probably should have done, it was an impressive win the entire time. And I eventually ended up getting a secondary town center. But something that I probably should have done a little bit better is one, build more like long houses so that I could spawn more units, true, but had a bigger emphasis on my actual economy. I mean, because again, with these two longhouses, like I have all these queues, 2, 4, 2, 4, and it probably would have been better suited if I just actually had them going crazy with like 5 or 6 different longhouses. It would have been a lot better. It would have been made things so much easier, so much easier. But hey, a win's a win. It was a good fight, and just the economy and the pressure from start to finish was enough to